And, you know, I have to say we share that here in Australia, Shirin. Now we're looking on screen at some of these beautiful images released by the IDF in the past hour of the first set of 7 hostages who were released. And you can just see the joy on their faces to be in daylight, in the arms, in the care of the IDF after 2 years. Shirin, this was a difficult negotiation, but I want to ask you one other thing, Shirin. The narrative that's taking hold around the world is that Trump forced Netanyahu's hand on this. That's not true, is it?
Absolutely not. Shari, for a few months now, Ron Dermer, which is Netanyahu's envoy, has been discussing, negotiating, and working together on building this plan. It's important to understand this plan will achieve the goals of the war through a diplomatic path. Israel always will choose a diplomatic path whenever we can reach it. Those goals were straight from the start. It's the return of all the hostages and the disarmament of Hamas. The fact that President Trump was able to put that peace plan on the table when not just Israel has accepted it fully, not one stage, 2 stage, but fully, the entire peace plan, the Arab countries completely accepted it. That's including Jordan and Egypt and Qatar and Turkey. Even the Palestinian Authority have accepted it. It shows you that there's an international consensus specifically about the second stage of the plan that talks about the disarmament of Hamas and that Hamas cannot have any future role, not from a military perspective and not from a civilian perspective. Unfortunately, though, we're not talking to rational leadership or sensible government. This is a terrorist organization. People who value death. It's a death cult that value death more than anything. They don't want peace and coexistence. They have indoctrinated an entire population in Gaza for 20 years, radicalizing, teaching them radical Islam, hatred, violence, murder. Trump, in his plan, speaks about the important issue, not about a slogan, not about a bureaucratic process, not an obsession of a 2-state solution. He speaks about education. He speaks about an economy. He speaks about a path on how Israelis and Palestinians might be able to live side by side in the future.
But that's the difficult thing, and let's bring in Jonathan back in now. I mean, Jonathan, knowing about how deeply ingrained this ideology is, not among all Palestinians, of course not, but among Hamas and Hamas supporters, then how does even Trump's peace plan break that? You know, how do you stop the next generation of terrorists from wanting to wage war on Israel?
Yeah, when you look at, when you want to effect meaningful long-term change, then of course you have to look at institutions and mindset, and you have to look at education and religious services. And Gaza is a society that has been under the oppression of several organizations, specifically Hamas. But there's another organization which I think is familiar to Australians, but it's familiar in the wrong way, and Australians probably think good things of it, when in fact it is a very negative influence. And that organization is the UN Relief and Works Agency. Now,
yes, exactly.
Australians will hear this and say, well, the UN, that's probably the forces of good, right? Handing out aid and helping civilians and whatever. Well, actually, no. That organization is in charge of about 85–90% of the education in the Gaza Strip, and they have been poisoning the minds of Gazans for generations. They are the ones who have been brainwashing Palestinian children to believe that martyrdom is a sweet death, and that to die as a mujahid, as a holy warrior on quest to annihilate the Jews, is a benign thing. When Deputy Minister Haskell speaks about a death cult, that is what UNRWA schools, funded, amongst other things, with Australian taxpayer money, is educating Palestinians to do. So if we want a different Gaza in the future, in the next years, if we want a different trajectory for the region, then we have to address the rampant anti-Semitism, Israel hatred, and jihadi indoctrination in UN schools. If you ask me, UNRWA needs to be dismantled, it needs to be abolished and really cast aside, and only then can we speak about a different future for Gaza.